Hello and welcome to It Takes a Village. We are so happy to have you here today. We have a very special guest, Robert Melvin, President and CEO of Limitless Creations. Robert Melvin is also the chairman of our board of directors at SAGE, San Antonio for Growth on the Eastside. So this is a very special version of It Takes a Village. Typically, I am the host and I'm interviewing our community leaders, talking about things that are happening on the Eastside. Well, unfortunately, this is my last few weeks here at SAGE as the president and CEO, and so we are turning the tables, and our chairman is going to talk to me about what is going on the east side of San Antonio. And so I'm very happy to be here with you today as the guest and semi-host, but as you know, this is just a very casual, informal conversation where we talk about things that are happening on the east side, and again, so happy to have Robert with us. So with that, I'm going to turn it over my host badge.
I accept. Thank you very much, Tuesday, and thank you all for tuning in and supporting SAGE and all of the things that we do to support the community. This is going to be a little bit different because we're going to get to know Tuesday in a way that most of us don't know her. We're going to start at the beginning and we're going to finish at the end. So Tuesday, you are originally from San Diego, California.
Born and raised.
From San Diego, you moved for college to Tennessee State University.
Correct, in Nashville.
HBCU. From there, you studied abroad.
In Uruguay and Montevideo.
Okay. Fluent in Spanish. Share with me what that experience was like coming from an HBCU on the other side of the country and that experience, and then transferring that to Uruguay, where you were immersed in a different culture, a different country. I mean, that's a very unique experience. Talk to me.
All of it was. So from San Diego, I actually, and most people don't know that, I was a basketball player. And
what
I was
position?
very, very good. Every position.
Whoa.
Yeah. Really was a great point, but I was mostly a shooting guard. So I had lots of scholarships to California colleges, but I was determined to go to an HBCU. So I bypassed all of those scholarships and went to Tennessee State on an academic scholarship. So went there and played just intramural basketball there, but I bypassed all of the basketball and just went because that was one of my dreams, and I couldn't have made a better decision.
Oh,
so
wow.
Going from San Diego to Nashville was great. And then as I was an exchange student in Uruguay, I have to tell this story, because I was supposed to go to Colombia, and I was really excited about it. But it just so happened that they had kidnapped several college students, and so my school said, hey, we don't want you to go there. And I said, well, okay. Where am I going? And they said, you're going to this town, a country called Uruguay. And I said, where is that? Because it's a little tiny country in between Brazil and Argentina. And so I was like, okay, let me look it up. And it was about 1% black. So I went from an HBCU to Uruguay, and it was very eye-opening because I was one of the only black people in the entire country, almost.
So let me ask you, is that where you perfected your Spanish?
Unfortunately, it was not. I actually became fluent in Spanish when I was 5. Around that, we started kindergarten to 6th grade. It was an immersion school.
Okay.
And so it was all day Spanish, and so I was fluent that first year.
So when you were in Uruguay, did they speak Spanish or was it Portuguese?
Yes,
it
it's
was
all Spanish.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I did learn some Portuguese there too.
That's an amazing experience. How long were you there?
Just a year.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And so you come back from Uruguay. You're on this amazing trajectory. What's your next move? You graduate?
I graduate and I go to graduate school at Texas A&M in Laredo.
Okay.
Sight
down in the
unseen.
valley.
Sight unseen.
All right.
Full scholarship. Fellowship, worked in the NATO office,
Yeah.
and so helped get all of that stuff taken care of, which was lovely. And so I was there a year and a half getting my graduate degree, and from there met someone who said, hey, I think you'd be great at FedEx. Sure. I don't have a job. I'm graduating from school. What do I do? And so interviewed and moved up to Houston. And so I lived in Houston working for FedEx for several years.
So how did we get the great benefit of your presence here in the city of San Antonio?
So after FedEx, went to work for YMCA. Worked for YMCA about 7-8 years. And then I was poached by the San Antonio YMCA. And so they found me, and I came here and worked for a little while. And then same thing happened. I was poached by the San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. So I worked for 8 years for Richard Betta as the president and CEO there.
And so in 2018, I recall you and we had interactions socially and just different fundraisers and things, and we had become, I would call us loose friends. The opportunity opened itself or availed itself here at Sage. You expressed interest. Why?
You know, when I was at the chamber, I felt like I was the cheerleader for San Antonio. I felt like I was able to sell the city in a way that was passionate, meaningful, impactful, and the amount of people that I talked to and worked with, it was just amazing. And so it really did build my network. And then when this opportunity came up, it was an opportunity to say, okay, now I get to focus all those efforts, not on the 1.5 million citizens in San Antonio, but the 95,000 that are on the east side of San Antonio, which is historically disenfranchised and also mostly black and brown.
Excellent. Making that transition, I'm going to bring you back to 2018. So officially you started January 1 of 2019, correct?
Sure.
All right. So you had a start date, but we had one of our largest fundraising events ever. And I recall I was sitting with the team, and I was attempting to plan something that I had no clue what I was doing. You came in and fired me, and you took it over before you even began.
That sounds so mean. Did I really do that?
Oh, no, yeah, you fired me. So what were you thinking? Like that intro had to be baptism by fire.
Absolutely.
But I will say it was all on you, because you grabbed the bull by the horns and you just took it. What were you thinking?
Well, you know, the difference is that your background is construction and building and, you know, bringing people together and doing those kind of things. And you were running a business. You brought me in to be the lead of this organization. And I thought, well, if this isn't baptism by fire, I don't know what is. But I wanted to make sure that I brought all of those networks that I had, all of the experience of planning from the chamber and the YMCA and all those other things. And I wanted to take it and show the community that you picked the right person.
Oh, I knew I had picked the right person. But the gala. For those that don't understand the complexities that go into throwing a successful gala, you took it over in December, and we had December 10th. Your start date was January, let's say 3rd, right? You were working here and at the chamber, planning our largest financial event of the year. And I think we broke a record that year. How in the hell did you do that?
Again, not me. This team is great. I walked into an organization that had some firecrackers, but also, again, the networks and making those connections and really tapping the community, because that's what we do anyway. And that's what we needed to do. And we just went for it, and it was amazing, and I was really proud of it, and I was proud of the organization, and I was proud of what we stood for, and I was really, really proud of the event itself.
So there's a lot to unpack here. I have two questions, all right? The first is, what would you consider your most memorable experience in the last 3 years?
Gosh, I think that's kind of like, what is your favorite country to visit? I don't have one. I have several.
Tell me.
I think probably my most important thing of all of these years was the entire year of 2020. From when the apocalypse first hit, we were here in this building and we were meeting. And someone came into our office, and it really was very clear that we needed to close our office because of the impact of what COVID-19 was doing. And so we closed down the office, all the team went home, and my team immediately said, okay, what do we need to do so we can keep working? What do we need to do so that we can continue serving this community? What do we need to do so that we are the ones that are sending the information out that they may not get? Because we know that this is a desert in so many different ways, right? It's a desert for capital, for healthcare, for food, for lots of things. And so we knew that we couldn't shut our doors because it was way too important for us to do what we were doing. But that meant we also had to pivot our programming too, because when we shut our doors, even though we were working from home, we needed to do digital production. We needed to figure out how we were still going to help people. We have a back office program that, people come into our office and meet with us, and we help them fill out grants, and we help them fill out paperwork and any other thing that they need. How do we do that virtually? Right. Because you remember early on, we didn't really have all those systems in place. We didn't know how we were going to do it.
Nobody knew how to use Zoom.
Nobody knew how to do Zoom. And I mean, now 7,000 Zooms later, I never thought that we would be here, but we were. And this team never stopped pushing, never stopped fighting. And from that work came all kinds of other things. And that's the most proud that I've ever been, in that we were able to completely pivot our organization, but also be productive and impactful in ways that we weren't even before.
So that's very interesting, and it kind of leads into that most challenging. So that's your most memorable and probably your most challenging for all of us. There are multiple factors when we talk about COVID. There's your personal mental health, your home, the idea of not being able to move as freely as you did literally the week before. How did you and Patrick deal with that? What was your coping mechanism?
Honestly, I don't remember. It was just move. It was just put one foot in front of the next, answer that next email, answer that next call, figure out what the next step is. And so, to be honest with you, and this is a thing that pains me, because my self-care is travel. And as we know,
wow, yeah, you're right,
that couldn't happen. And so, honestly, it was just one of those ones, finding happiness and joy just in being safe and having a shelter and having food and having family, which my staff was, and just being able to help people. I am a servant leader at heart. I always have been. And so when I look at the numbers of, well, somebody walked into my office today with a shoebox full of receipts and we got them a grant. Or somebody came in and said, my business is going to close tomorrow, help me. So it was like I was living through those people, and I kind of forgot about myself.
Wow. I recall we provided each other with back office support, in the sense that we both didn't know what was going on. The information that was being disseminated was kind of all over the place. You made an active decision, and I remember this distinctly. You called me early on like a Saturday, and you said, look, we have to get active. Where does that come from?
I am very, very blessed with parents that raised me in a way that meant or said a quote, and I say it all the time. I didn't write it. My dad didn't write it. I stole it. He stole it. There's a quote that says, you can never live a perfect day without doing something for someone who can never repay you.
Wow.
And that's how I live. That's how I've always lived. I've always wanted to make sure that the people around me are healthy and happy, the people that I work for are healthy and happy, and that's the community, and that is the Eastside of San Antonio.
So as we dig deeper into that portion of COVID, SAGE, being the servant leader as you are, you mentioned that you retooled, that we began to understand what the needs were from the city's perspective, the county, and I'm speaking from knowledge, in assisting a larger swath of the community. walk me through that planning process. I remember getting a text photograph of the entire staff at the San Antonio Food Bank. And I immediately text you and ask you if it was safe. And you said all of our safety protocols are in place. Almost the next day, you all had the whole staff at AT&T Center. You were passing out PPEs and hand sanitizers and the thermometers. How do you motivate your staff in an environment that we've never seen before?
Well, I think that you have to lead by example. They saw me in the office every day. Even when we weren't supposed to be in the office, I was probably here. Or if we were on Zoom, one of the 7,000s, I was still working every day and all day. And so being motivational in a way that I didn't even know I had in me, it was one of those things you just have to figure out every day. But I know that I've always been passionate for my staff. I've always cared for their development. I've always cared for their well-being. There was one day that I think I made baskets for everybody and I delivered them. And I told everyone, hey, you need to come outside and I have a delivery for you, because mental health is a thing. And we've had several mental health people come and talk to Sage. We've had mental health people come and talk to our community through Zoom and through other ways. And so motivation comes in all kinds of different ways. And so I just kind of threw everything up in the air and figured out which worked. Some did, some didn't. Some things that I did probably failed miserably, but I never stopped trying.
That's amazing. But you just touched on something that I want to revisit. You talked about mental health and the strain or the stress that we were placed under during the apocalypse. The idea of providing an outlet for your staff, where did that come from? Because you did that almost in April, when the rest of the studies that were coming out talking about the mental health aspect of isolation and separation wasn't out until the following August or September, because that's when it became an issue when we were talking about the kids. Mm-hmm. So why did you pick up on or foresee the mental health component so quickly?
Well, I think you have to really understand the work that we do here at Sage anyway. So prior to COVID, we were helping people directly, and that is impactful for the person doing the helping already. And so when you have somebody that's helping someone support their business, support their family, get a storefront grant, any of the numerous things that we do, you're looking at them saying, I am here to help you. And I knew that if they were helping people pre-apocalypse, helping people in the apocalypse is going to be even harder for them, because they have their own issues. They had their own issues at home. They had their own issues at work. They had their own issues across the world because of what was happening. So I already knew that this work is hard. This work it takes people with big hearts, and I have them, and I know their hearts, but also knowing that they're taking on and seeing the news and seeing what's happening, that we needed to focus on the people so that they could be whole, so that they could help other people.
So let's talk about the war room. You had the mayor, Eric Walsh, the city manager, District 2 councilwoman, Bexar County commissioners, sitting in a room collectively figuring out how to disseminate information, 2 supplies, 3 resources, food, and the like. How did that come about? Because you played a critical role, not just in the city of San Antonio, but in Live Oak, Converse, and there's another city out there that I'm probably Cibolo. What was that like? And what made you step beyond our footprint?
Well, again, I think that goes back to the networks. So the mayor he did an amazing job in COVID, and so did the councilwoman, and so did Eric, and so did so many more people that I could even mention. And they were doing the work. And again, because of the network that we had built and Sage, and making sure that everyone in the community knew what we were doing, knew how we operated, having that network said to me that we need to reach out as the person, as the entity on the east side that can do this work. And so I did. I was reaching out to any and everybody that would listen, that, hey, my staff is available, they're working, they're here, what can we do to help? And so it was throwing our name in the hat anywhere we possibly could be, because we knew that we could do it. And we did. We helped hundreds, thousands of people get PPP loans. We helped people get PPE supplies. We helped people get grants, funding, keeping their doors open, getting their children into schools, finding housing. We signed up with so many new partnerships, and we already had a lot, but we signed up a lot of new partnerships because of the work, and because I said, if it needs to happen on the east side, we want to be the ones to do it. We want to be the ones that are directing that work because we can.
Wow. So we know 2020 was a really, really stressful and hard year on all of us. I want to back up. There was a highlight in 2020 before everything came to a screeching halt. And that was the 2020 gala that we hosted in February of that year. Talk to me about that gala.
Now that one was just fun.
It was incredible.
It was fun. So the first one was more, hey, you have 10 days to plan a gala. And the second one was, now you have more time. And by then we had created a new logo.
Correct.
We had developed a new website. We had hired new and great staff. We had vistas that were doing amazing work. And so I said, this is an opportunity for us to come out and let the world know what Sage is and what we do and who we are. And so it just was a fun event. And I think what made it even more fun was my husband decided that we had to watch the Dallas Cowboy game. So that was in the corner for all of the men and women who might not have wanted to be there. We got them to stay just a little bit longer. But it was just a fun, impactful, informative event. And I was very, very proud of it.
As a board member, we don't get the privy of seeing how the sausage is made. We have the great benefit of walking into the finished product. And that evening was spectacular. Again, you broke your own record with funding, and it was another huge check on our ability to move forward. The world shuts down. You go into a different level of thinking. You get knee deep into the community in a way that we have never seen because we've never been in this situation. But we still had a gala that we had to plan for. And again, as being one of our major funding events, we were in a tailspin. Tell us about your thought process and how you handled that.
Well, we had already been living a full digital life. We knew, you're talking about this year, 2021.
Yes.
Yes, and so we'd already been living a digital life. We had our Eastside business briefing with the mayor and the councilwoman at the time. We had FBI security trainings. We had mental health, financial health. We had all kinds of digital trainings. And again, the benefit of hiring and having people that work for you that are smarter than you, they came up with great ideas. And so I said, hey team, let's figure this out. And so we did, and we worked together and we nailed it down, and we trialed and errored and just really tried to make an attempt to make something different, unique, fun, and safe. And again, with the people that are smarter than me on my team, came up with the ideas of pre-recording and getting different types of people and having testimonials and just making it so that they had the experience that they would have had if they were in person, but at home. So people had food that was wonderfully prepared by the Redberry Mansion.
Well, explain that. I think for those that may not know, talk about that. I mean, you literally had food, unprepared, uncooked, delivered, and then we watched on the Zoom, and we prepared that. Where did that come from?
My team. Again, the premise behind the galas is to highlight Eastside chefs, Eastside businesses. How do we get the world to see what we see every day? And so what we did was we said, okay, let's still work with our chefs. They still had their recipes and they still had all of their plans. And so what we did was we filmed them. And again, my shrinking violet husband, Patrick, was the host. And what he did was he walked through how to make a meal. And as the meal was delivered or picked up at the Redberry Mansion, then the chefs were walking them through how to cook it on their own. And so it was a experience where it was still a part of a gala, but it was an experience that they got to experience at home in the safety of their homes.
It was a beautiful concept because individuals were able to, I don't know if you looked at the chat thread during the event, people were having the time of their lives and they were posting photographs of how their hors d'oeuvres looked versus what the chef's hors d'oeuvres looked like. You had people challenging other people to recipe cook-offs, and it brought about a level of connectivity that previously or in a traditional event you may not get, but somehow in this virtual space it became infectious. More people, I know personally, I was sending the link to everybody because your husband, Patrick, was incredible. And he made the whole evening comical, honest. Where did he get that from? Did you have a side pep talk with him and get him correct, or?
Interestingly enough, he's that way all the time.
Oh wow!
So that wasn't a hard sell. So he's a great person. But again, it really came from the idea of my team. We didn't think to have Patrick host it. We didn't think to have all of those small little special things that we did. And there were so many little touches that people didn't know. We had the theme was a masquerade, right?
That's right.
Because we worked off of the theme of a mask, because you're wearing a mask. So you're wearing a mask on your face, you're wearing a mask on your eyes. So it really just came from the team and the discussions on what it needed to be so that we could give people that experience.
It was an amazing job. But you said something that I find very interesting. You said that you hire people that are smarter than you. Talk to me about that philosophy.
Well, leading an organization is one that you have 700,000 moving ahead of an organization. You know that. You want to be able to pick the tile color. You want to be able to pick what it's actually going to look like at the end because you have your vision.
Correct.
And it's the same for me. I have my vision of what it needs to be, but I know I have to rely on people to actually do the work and to make sure that they're doing it, and so that I don't have to do every single part. I don't want to pick the colors of napkins. I don't want to figure out how the food is going to be delivered, but I have people who love that, or people who excel at those type of things. And so you want to make sure that you're encouraging them and your team to do that type of work, because I wish I could do all of those things, but I cannot. And the fact that I have people that have such great ideas, that have such great work ethic, really does provide an opportunity for me to be able to do the other things that I need to do, to go have those meetings with the mayor and the city manager and those type of people. So when you have that type of environment, it allows me to do the things that I need to do to make sure this organization is the best serving institution it possibly can be.
So that is a very high-level leadership skill. Where and how did you cultivate that?
It's a very good question. I have no idea. I wish I could tell you. I think it's just I've had great work experiences. I've had great leaders as bosses. Richard Perez is one of my favorite people. Still a dear friend. I have lots of mentors, lots of people that are leaders. Paula Gold-Williams, Harriet Dominique. Goodness, I feel horrible because I want to list everybody on, in the city of San Antonio. But it really is just looking at how people operate and seeing the person that you want to be and mimicking that.
So let's switch gears. Your role at Sage, you found your flow, and it was remarkable. And you've elevated the organization to heights that are unprecedented. I want to talk about you. How do you stay sane?
Again, it's just never about me. And I know it sounds funny. So as we've been talking, as you know, this is my final days. We're in the planning stages of my going away party, and I literally did not want to have it. I've been fighting it left and right because I love to do the work. I love to put other people on the stage. I love to highlight people. I love to make people feel special, but it's really uncomfortable when it comes my way. And so for me, it is just about the work. It is just about making someone's day.
I'm going to challenge that.
It is.
But I am, because your drive is comprehensive. It's not just the thing. It is the impact. It is the reverberant impact. You have an innate ability to think 3 layers beyond the impact zone. And that is a unique gift that I've witnessed firsthand within your activities within the organization. It's never about the gala. It's 6 months down the road. It's whenever we're having a discussion about something, you're already thinking of the impact that it has in other arenas and what partners do we need to bring to the table. So that is a very unique gift, and it was one that was beautiful to watch unfold. Again, let's get back to the fun stuff. What does Tuesdaé do for fun? I know you love Sage.
I do.
I know you love the Eastside.
Mm-hmm.
You live, eat, sleep East. But what does Tuesdaé do when nobody's around? It's her day, her thing. What are we doing?
Well, if it's a pie in the sky type conversation, I'm a traveler.
Absolutely.
I've been to 70-ish countries. And so now that we can travel again, travel is back on my woo-saw moments. It is a time where, again, I get to experience other cultures. I get to learn. I get to meet people. I'm a water baby. And so anywhere that there's water, I am. And so I love that. But the thing that I think keeps me the most grounded is really my family and my friends. I've got great, amazing sister friends and uncles and adopted fathers and, just all those people. And I think that having those people to ground you, and in particular, I have one girlfriend, Paula, who will tell me in a heartbeat, hey, get over yourself. It is not about you, it's about this. But you need those type of people. But again, she is one of several. She is one of the people that I rely on. She is one of the people that I look to for advice. And you have to have those type of people because you bounce those type of ideas off of. And, I can't say that I'm always happy and I'm always in a great mood. I'm sure my staff would tell you that that's probably not the case either. But you have to be realistic on where you are. And by knowing where you are really helps ground me, because seeing how other people react to me, seeing how other people, want to help, or how I can call them if I need any type of support, that's the same type of person that I want to be. And so by getting that, I also am allowed to give it.
But that is extremely important, to have people who are willing to have unfiltered conversations to kind of keep us grounded. Sometimes it's hard for people to accept it, but those that do, I find that they are a lot more grounded than the ones that think that we know everything. And I think at some point we probably play both roles until we we elevate. So you have given so much to the city of San Antonio, so much to the Eastside of San Antonio, so much to this organization. Your DNA and your fingerprints are all over this place. What's on the horizon for your rising star? And you are a rising star. I mean, you're a rock star. What's next for you? I mean, what is Tuesday's next challenge?
That's a very good question. I don't know what that is yet. I am actually going to take a minute to sit down and really figure out what that is. I don't quite know yet. So we'll see. But I know that the departure here is not one that was forced. It was not one that I planned. It was one that was out of necessity because of family and because of life. And, things change and life changes. But it is one that I know I'll be back one day. San Antonio is a city that I love. San Antonio is a city that my husband loves. And it is one that I'm very passionate about. And so I know I'll be back one day. But I also know that whatever happens at this organization after my departure is going to be amazing. I know that the city is going to continue to be great and greater, and just continue to be this shining gem in Texas. And so, again, I don't know, but I know it'll be something dynamic.
I agree. It's going to be transformative. So you've touched many lives. You've been transformative in the lives of your staff, your understanding, your compassion. But I would be remiss if I did not discuss your impact on my life and how our interaction has made me elevate in every aspect of engagement. The fact that you were able to transition and help the staff, one, find comfort in a new leader and the new direction that you were taking them was, one, expected, two, incredible. What was not expected was that impact that you had on my life. And I can say that as the CEO of this organization, we speak at least, once or twice a day and about 1,000 texts. You've made me a more thoughtful leader. You've made me a more patient leader. And you've helped me understand the concept of collective ships rising. And for that, I am very grateful. We embarked upon this journey at the same time. And we were both nervous, frustrated, scared, excited. And I am fortunate to have had the opportunity to get you to know you in the manner that I have. Your husband, your beautiful family. Your presence is forever going to be missed because of just what impact that you've had in this organization and within this community in 3 years. And so while it's selfish of me to want you to stay and be here forever, I'm extremely proud of you. I love you. and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And I know you're going to be fantastic. And by the way, you're not leaving Sage. You're just taking a little sidestep.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. I do.
So with that, I want to thank Tuesdaé for all of her hard work, dedication, and commitment to the city of San Antonio, Bexar County, the state of Texas, but more importantly, the citizens of the Eastside, that she has embraced and brought them in as her personal responsibility. And as such, this organization will forever be changed in a positive impact. So again, I want to thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Until next time, guys.
It takes a village.
Peace.